allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with the approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Any questions? Okay. Move on to the approval of the bills and the warrants.
We have to need to vote.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Steve,
Yes.
Monica,
Yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Lana.
Yes.
Bo.
Yes. Now we'll do the approval of the bills and warrants.
I make a motion, we approve the bills and warrants.
I second.
Any questions on the bills and warrants? Yeah.
Typically, those are included in the board packet online, and maybe I'm the only nerd that looks through them line by line, but are those available to us somewhere?
I'm not sure.
I
They-
mean,
they-
I do track them every
Right.
month, so.
They should be, yeah.
So can we find them at a future date, or?
Yeah, we'll make them available as soon as possible. I didn't realize they were missing.
No, the entire board packet isn't included.
Oh, no board packet online? Okay.
There's nothing.
What kind of a transition?
I guess it was, tried to be posted and for some reason it didn't take. I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning is behind it, but we'll have to get it.
We can just pick those up in the office then, or?
Yeah, we'll probably have to do that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
Monica,
Yes.
Yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Lana. Yes. Bo.
Yes. Public participation on any non-agenda items.
I have one.
Yes.
Alright, so this might take a couple minutes, but about a year ago, our golf team had left the St. Regis Trust Card Tournament. We always stop for Huckleberry milkshakes because that's what you do in St. Regis. And this guy started talking to three of our lady golfers, and Mr. Bev noticed and thought, why is this FedEx guy talking to our golfers? And so he got involved, and the guy was explaining who he was. He was the head of the Matt Tynan Foundation, and they did scholarships for golfers. So they pointed him in my direction. We spent probably 15 minutes talking to him, and I said, well, this year I don't have any seniors that are golfers, but maybe next year. And he said, great. So I gave him Tyrell's number, told him Plain Schools, gave him our phone number. Didn't think anything of it because we didn't have any golfers that were going to get scholarships last year. Well, then he called Catherine this spring looking for me, and turns out they're dissolving the foundation, and they were looking to donate golf clubs and golf equipment to small schools who might have kids that would need to borrow clubs in order to maybe start golfing. So Mr. Bev and Eleanor went a week ago Saturday, and we were gifted with 2 sets of brand new men's clubs and bags, 2 sets of brand new ladies clubs and bags, and 2 laser rangefinders. So almost $5,000 worth of golf equipment for our small schools, so that, and now our kids are telling some of their friends, you don't have to have golf clubs, you can borrow some because we have them if you want to try. So hopefully next year we will get a few kids that maybe think they can't afford to golf, but they could at least try golfing because we have the clubs to help them out. So.
was reading on Facebook, and someone posted on one of the public forums that they were moving here and wanted to know what the problem was at the school. And there were, of course, there's rumors and nobody really knew anything. But my thoughts were, wow, they don't even live here and they know about what's going on or what they think's going on. And I was wondering if I heard that and I had kids coming to school, if I would even want to enroll them, if there's that much trouble. And I know there's been talk about declining enrollment and possibly trying to get some of the homeschool kids back in here. And if I was a homeschooler and had already left, I would think, no way. And our community has been split apart by all this. People are friends or not friends anymore. And I thought, how is it gonna be possible for everybody to come together? And then a few days later, I was at church, and our pastor has been going right through Romans, you know, one chapter after the other. And it's pretty amazing how God works. That week in Romans, it was about reconciliation. And he had us turn to 2 Corinthians 5:17 through 20. And I'm gonna paraphrase it here from the Message Bible, which uses plain everyday language. The old life is gone, new life comes out. All this comes from the God who settled the relationship between us and him. And he called us to settle our relationships with each other. God put the world square with him through the Messiah, giving the world a fresh start. And God has given us the task of persuading men and women to drop their differences and work in making things right between them. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be wonderful if that could happen? And I've heard people here at school board meetings before wanting to have everybody work together for the kids and the schools and the teachers. And then one teacher talked about starting here right after COVID, and 7 teachers quit. And so there are and have been issues that need to be reconciled and worked out. And I know most of the school board members, and they're great people. I know most of the admin, and they're great people. And I know a lot of teachers, and they're all great teachers, great people. And the community members I know are great people. And I fail to understand why things can't be worked out. And I know I've never been sorry for trying to work things out. And even if I didn't think I was wrong, be the first one to say I was sorry. And I'm not very eloquent, and I should have started this all by saying, I can't imagine being a teacher now. It would be the toughest thing in the world. And I don't mean to cast blame on anybody, but I don't know, I'm saying all this to urge people to work things out.
That was nice. Shows
Sure
you care.
quiet in here.
That's okay.
Anybody else on non-agenda items? Jeff?
Yes, Jermaine, track team's got 2 kids going to the top 10 meet tomorrow, Lexi Deming and Owen Jermaine. So it's a pretty big feat for a Class BC to make it into that top 10 meet where you're competing against the AA kids and all that. So just wanted to let everybody know that that's happening tomorrow.
Krista?
Krista Fox Brown, I was just gonna put this out there. Our meetings have become so big, it seems like they're pretty divided with this folks all coming. If there was any consideration to maybe move the location so we could all see each other
move on to reports, starting with the superintendents.
Good evening, pardon my voice. I'm happy to announce that the Western Montana Mental Health Clinic has provided a therapist for us, for our students and their families. We've been trying to get this, in place for about the last 4 years. And we welcome Elizabeth Bartelli Herman, a child family therapist. Right now, she'll be shared with Thompson Falls until they get a full-time, but she is situated here, and she's already started to talk to the principals, talk to the counselors. She'll be working with Sue Sneed, so the two of them will make a magnificent team and give the kids the support and the encouragement that they need, as well as support to families. So that's a very big plus for us. Negotiations have taken place with our PTO. We had a meeting last week, and we have a next scheduled meeting. Will be on Monday. It'll be posted April 28th at 4:30 in Mrs. Burrows' room. Unfortunately, the position for business manager, district clerk has been posted, and to date, we have 3 interested applicants. Interviews will start shortly. We continue to investigate the possibility of engaging Harmony program in our school. Peter Joseph and I have been playing phone tag for about a week. I think they're off now, to get that team, because people said they would like to go and visit the school. So we're gonna try to get that taken care of before any decisions are made. Our students and staff here, as you all know, Skills USA, our art students, our music students have been doing a phenomenal job in representing not only our school, but the talents that they have within themselves. So a little bit later, you'll be hearing their names called in recognition of the great things that they're doing. So congratulations to the parents and the guardians and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and everyone who helps support these students. On Thursday, April 24th, Jason Moore and the team from the Montana Co-op will be here during lunch periods. They'll be working on providing smoothies for our students, healthy smoothies. This is part of that grant we talked about last year. It's finally coming to fruition. And they're gonna check out on Thursday, with Russell and I, they're gonna check out the area where they're gonna plant the 6 fruit trees and put in the irrigation, so we can start a little bit of, really homegrown, good nutritious value for our kids. And, due to a sudden resignation, we're in the process of making some adjustments to our music program. And over the next 2 weeks, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Our students will be going to the state. We have our 3 students going to state competition, and the concert will go on as scheduled. Our principals will be talking about that a little bit later. So I just want you to know, parents will be getting a letter Tuesday, Wednesday, the latest, letting you know of the reorganization, and then of the specifics of the concerts and things that are going on due to this void. That's all I have.
Ms. Meredith?
I have a question.
Yeah.
At one of the budget workshops, you had mentioned that you were gonna be meeting with the president of one of the co-ops, on a Thursday, and then the last meeting ran out of time, and I never did get to ask how that meeting went.
President of the
Homeschool co-op?
Homeschool Co-op, Susanna
Susanna
Fiore.
Fiore.
Yes, I spoke with her. She spoke with Emery, who is the other part of the Harmony, and we haven't gotten back yet.
Oh, so you guys didn't get to meet then?
Well, we did. She and I did over the phone. We had a phone conference, yes. And then she met with Emery, because Emery was a homeschool mom who helped create this program, and I felt that it would really give her good insights into how it could work. But that's
Yeah.
that's all I have.
I guess I was just astounded that there's 88 kids in that program, so I was really curious as to what their thoughts were.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ms. Meredith.
Handed out the elementary newsletter. Most of you guys probably got that already. And along with that, the student enrollment numbers. Looks like we're at 390 K-12, so kind of held steady this month from last month, so that's good. On the newsletter, it was the end of the 3rd quarter, so we had an honor roll list, and it was a big list. So that was the first thing. That's always the funnest one to put on the newsletter. And if you look at that, all of the students that are listed in yellow were 4.0. So we have a lot of students in 4.0, particularly in 5th and 6th grade. So that's really cool. They were treated to popsicles on Thursday for making honor roll. With the exception of the 5th grade, they'll get their popsicles on Wednesday. So And of course, that's always fun too, handing popsicles out to your students. So, nice job to all of our students for doing that. Couple other things just to talk about that are coming up. We have a number of field trips coming up here over the next month. The one that I am going to highlight just a little bit more is the 6th grade camp out, which will be May 14th and 15th, I believe. Mrs. Feist and Mr. Rasco are having their meeting on the 30th, next Wednesday, I think, to talk with parents. This is one of those trips that if you were to talk to a lot of other smaller rural schools in the area, a lot of schools used to do this, and a lot of them have really gotten rid of it for just, there's a lot of reasons. And this is one, and we talked about it this morning, Dr. Walsh and Dr. Fettinger and I, this is just one that we don't ever want to lose. And probably one of the biggest components to it that we just hope for every year, we've been so fortunate over the years, is a lot of parent support and participation, because really without their support, you can't take 40 kids camping with just 2 teachers. It just doesn't work. But it works really well when we have lots of parents there to help. And so that meeting will be an important meeting next Wednesday, and we're looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun, and it is really, I feel like it is kind of it's the most exciting field trip that our elementary students get to do in their elementary career. With the after school program coming to an end here in the next month in May, that means that we will be starting to look at our summer program. So our summer program this year is somewhat different than what it's been over the past, 4 or 5 years actually. And the reason for that is because it is now funded through our after school program grant that we received. So we are planning on running a summer program. Don't exactly have the details hammered out yet, just as far as some of the financial stuff and how we're going to make it work and be able to offer the program. But I'll have more details in May, hopefully for the May newsletter. But we are planning on a summer program. And with that being said, I just want to end with a big thank you to Jill Louse, Shelby Schwall, and Kristen Cole for all of their hard work this year with our after-school program. That's Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays until 5:30. And it's been a really great year. We've had good numbers, and it's a lot of work, especially after a full day of working already. And so Miss Shelby and Miss Jill have done an excellent job, and just a big thank you to those guys for reinvigorating that program after about a 5-year hiatus. And that's all I've got.
Kevin, question,
Yeah.
what time is your meeting on Wednesday?
It's 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
It's at 5 o'clock to
Where?
6:30. It'll be in Miss Feist and Mr. Asper's room.
Okay.
It'll actually, it's just an open meeting, so it's gonna start at around 4. Whenever parents want to read through, project packets and sign up for stuff, they can, we'll just talk to them about it then. So anytime between after school until about 6 o'clock at night.
Thank you.
Dr.
Okay.
Fetting, yep.
News from the high school. We had quite a few students on the honor roll in the junior high and high school, so I didn't put them on the newsletter, but we had approximately 67 high school students on honor roll, 24 students with a 4.0, and 39 students in the junior high with eight students with a 4.0. So we had a lot of high achieving students this past quarter. Midterms are on Wednesday, the 23rd, and hopefully everybody will finish the year strong. I took the salutatorian, Logan Steinbeck, and the valedictorian, Layla Harris, out to breakfast 2 weeks ago, and I got to know those 2 kids, and they're both 12-year seniors from Plains, and they both have really impressive resumes and goals. So Logan is going into the Navy, and Layla is going to go to Bozeman, to Montana State. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to hear their speeches when they on graduation. We had a career fair in Kalispell on Thursday. Approximately 20 students went. My numbers were correct. We had a hospital visit with the juniors, and the junior class was invited to go down and do a little career fair. They had some stations they went around and learned about the different careers available through the hospital, not just in the nursing or doctor department, because there's a lot of careers. And since Clark Fork Valley Hospital is the largest employer in Sanders County, you know, there was a lot of options given to those students. On the first week of April was Paraprofessional Day, so Mr. Meredith and I gave a little thank yous to all of our paraprofessionals who we value immensely. Without them, some of our programs would really suffer. So just want to say thanks to all the paraprofessionals. And we have the Rising Seniors. The juniors go to a Rising Seniors event tomorrow night with Mr. Allen. We have mock interviews next Monday with Mrs. Mitchell's class. There's a college night coming up, and I forgot to write down the date, but it's out there somewhere in the announcement. And their seniors are taking their senior skip day, which is pre-planned and paid for, so it's not really a skip day. They go to Missoula on the 8th.
They feel like it's a skip day.
Yeah, they celebrate. And in our Montana's Cares program, the Stop It program, we've had several people call into the system and talk to therapists, and we get like a little notice that somebody had called in, and if it's something that needs attention, then as an admin or superintendent, we can refer it to one of our counselors. So far we've had a few hits on that site, so that'll be interesting to see how it grows. And there's an end of the year barbecue. Everybody's invited on the 21st, 22nd, that last Thursday. I'm not sure who's cooking it, but it's a tradition. We'll be cooking for you.
Okay, there is no unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. Start off with board recognition.
You've heard all the great and wonderful things our students are doing, and there's sometimes it's really too many to mention. But the principals, because they know the names the best, and they know there's children, we'd like them to give out these certificates that the school board would like the students to have in honor of their recognition of their achievements. Dr. Benton, you take them. Mr. Meredith, you have the elementaries?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can read them and we can celebrate them.
Sure, we'll go first. So for the district music festival, we have Mackenzie Tulloch. She's also going to state. We have Layla Harris, state finalist. And this one should be Maddie Carter, state finalist. Those three girls go to the state competition. Maddie, would you like to come and get it?
Please come and get your certificate.
Skills USA, Emmy Russell, Clinton Wiedemann, Gary Rabine,
These are the ones going to nationals.
Brian Lacko, Caleb Erkenbrack, Hallie Collette, Kiara Brown, and Kyler Bannout.
They're representing international.
I'll pass these out tomorrow.
I'm sure they would have been here, but we didn't know that you were doing that tonight.
And they also, there's about 15 various categories that the Skills USA young people won awards in. It was phenomenal. It's phenomenal the work, and I think I wrote some ledger on that. Phenomenal that the work that their advisors have done with them and the parents' support. It's been great. It's really been great. It's really made it, really put them on the map again. They've always been there, but just put them on the map again.
Okay, I've got a few certificates here for, we had a number of our grade levels competed in the Plains Beautification Days art contest. And we had winners in 3 different categories: kindergarten and first, K1, second through
I think it's second,
third,
Third.
and
Fourth
fourth
and
through
fifth.
sixth. Yeah. So our second place winner in 4th through 6th grade was Kyrie Carr. She got second place at the Beautification Days. You're gonna hear that name again. Our first place is, I believe he might be a repeat winner, is Branson Frixell. So nice job, Branson. Yeah. Our second place winner in the 2nd and 3rd grade is Adeline Hughie. And first place was Cade Kinzer. So nice job to those guys. And then in kindergarten and first is a kindergarten student, got second place, that's Emberlyn Morrison. And first place went to a first grader, Emma Caldwell. So nice job to those two. And the winners of that, they get to choose the business in the town of Plains that they would like to get a gift card for. And explaining that to them and then hearing their responses was probably the most fun of it all. Where they wanted to go.
So Kevin, the only hiccup there I'm waiting on, when I went to the circle for Branson's,
Okay.
they couldn't do a gift certificate.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to be able to go back in there and get one so that I can schedule
Yeah.
to come and deliver those. So yeah, it was the only hiccup.
No
I have
problem.
the rest of them.
And this last award is a different art contest called the Keep Montana Green Art Contest. That's held by the DNRC. And this is the regional winner went to a Plains student in 5th grade, and that was Kyrie Carr. So, nice job to Kyrie. And so Kyrie's art will be will now compete at the state level for the Keep Montana Green contest. And I believe there was a student that also placed in the high school division with Mrs. Cole. Funny thing is, we've had numerous winners at the high school division in Mrs. Cole's art class. So when they sent the announcement for Kyrie Carr, it was Mr. Cole, younger Mr. Cole, his 5th grade class, but they wrote Mrs. Cole because I think they were used to saying Mrs. Cole. So that's a compliment to Mrs. Cole.
Mike Reistroffer was first for the high school.
Okay. Next is breakfast in the classroom update.
Okay, our breakfast in the classroom program started, March 10th as a way to increase our numbers and also help children get a nutritional breakfast and a good start to the morning. CEP program that we were eligible for, and we got free reduced lunch, but they changed some of the rules as we went along, and it started to, it really didn't level out the project. And we are not the only school that has had these problems with this funding from CEP. So, along with this and last year's increase in certain numbers, we had a gap. We had a financial gap. So what we did was, I had talked in 2 months before that, I had talked to 2 principals, one gentleman from the Smet School District, and I forget the other one, Arlie. And they had started breakfast in the classroom, and I spoke to them at the superintendent's meeting in Missoula, and they said it's really a great program, it helps the kids, it gives a shot in the arm to the program, schools should try it. So I had come back, and I talked to Larry Joe, and we had started talking about it, and then when this came up, we said, well, let's really try to push it. The kids need, what happens is the little ones especially, they're playing outside in the morning, they're not thinking of coming in and having breakfast. You know, so we had small numbers, we had, and Larry Joe will speak more to the numbers, but we had 60 students having breakfast, more or less, and the hard work of the kitchen staff, the teachers, custodial staff, everyone involved, we were over 200 in the morning having children eat breakfast, and that's a really good plus for us. the amazing thing is that since COVID, and those of you who are in the business know, the amazing thing are the numbers that have gone up. This I found phenomenally interesting. Previously, a case of frozen eggs was $46. So after COVID, and now it's $110. Powdered milk was $80 a case, and now it's $160 a case. Fresh fruit was $38 a box, now it's $77 a box, and we use 3 boxes a day. So these are exorbitant costs. And when I asked Larry Jo to share with you, she'll tell you some of the stopgap things she's done, and her team and the principals and the teachers have all done to try to close this gap. We're still scratching down to exact numbers. It's about 5 weeks old, 6 weeks old, this program, but we think we're making some headway. The most exciting headway is letting the kids have lunch and socialize a little bit. Patience of the teachers is much appreciated, and the work that everyone's put together is really making a bit of an impact. Larry Jo, could I ask you just to talk to some facts, numbers, things that you've seen, and you've talked with principals, teachers, I believe.
Hi.
Talk loud.
I just wanted to come tonight to just give a little bit of input on the facts and information of breakfast in the classroom. It's been really exciting for us, as everybody else. We learned of our deficit, and we wanted to do whatever we could to help slow it down or help recuperate some of it. And so we came up with a plan as breakfast in the classroom, and I have a sheet here that I gave to the board members of facts and information. But so our 16-day average was 215. We packed 291 breakfasts every day. So that was pretty amazing to see. And just in 13 days of March, we increased our revenue by $4,000. Which is a profit, of course, but that's a pretty good increase. The most exciting increase for me was to see the 7th and 8th grade and the high school and their participation and just being able to grab and go. High school we'd have 5 kids at the most, and we're up to 36 was the most so far, so that was huge. So to me, that, and 7th and 8th grade is the same. They boosted up 20%. So anyway, that was exciting, and that's worth conversation going forward next year, to keep that option available for them. As everybody knows, it was a little bit of a rocky start for everybody because there was a big change, and a slight change that much, but it seems to be going pretty smooth now. And now that we have our routine down, we get to offer something not different than a muffin on Thursdays and keep our costs down the other days. And I've been in contact with Emily at OPI to kind of go through the sugar mistruths and kind of play that from the OPI and get a little support from them as far as how to support the meal patterns that we have and that we're following guidelines, and that a lot of that is just what I said, it's mistruths. And so if there's ever any questions that you guys have, just come and ask. Just to reassure you guys though, our added sugar guidelines, the new ones coming in 2025-26, we're below those already. So just to throw that out there so that you guys know. And we're also below saturated fat and the sodium guidelines. So anyway, so that'll just let you know some of the facts that we really do care about feeding our kids in the morning. And I know that the variation is limited for breakfast in the classroom, but what I see in the morning is the kids are super excited to have that, and it's harder on the teachers. I believe with Mental Heart it's better for the kids. Just a better atmosphere, and we get more than every month, between $4,000 and $8,000 we would have lost without this change, so I really appreciate you guys, as hard as it was for everybody, I appreciate.
Larry, what about the $11,000 you got for food?
So there's been some things that we did to change right off the bat when we found out at the end of January, so headed into February before we started breakfast in the classroom. We, much to everybody's dismay, we limited desserts to once a week. And chocolates to chocolate milk once a week. And anyway, we cut a few things and then moved things around a little bit, and it helped make a huge difference. And then the USDA order we do once a year, and I've never utilized. I've always utilized obviously the USDA order, but every month you can go in and get stuff that's free that's excess, and I've never had to utilize that because until last year we always operated in the black. So since then, I used it a little bit before January, but since we found out this, I went in, especially this last month, I went in and we were able to get almost $5,000 worth of canned fruit. So that was a huge, that'd be a huge help, yeah. Anyway, as everybody else is emotional for all of us, but so anyway, so February and March I did a lot of number crunching and looking for numbers when I didn't have them available. But as far as I can tell, it's pretty accurate. Is we lost $52 in February, which is huge compared to $7,000. Yeah.
And your team did a really great
I
job.
can't do this without the help of everybody. And the kitchen staff is amazing. We're in the same position as a lot of you, wondering what next year's gonna look like. But they rallied and they're 100% what can I do to fill these caps? What can I do to make a difference? And so that part was super cool to see and be a part of. We rallied as a team and got through it the best we could. And we're getting through it the best we all can. Russell has been a big help in his team with helping paying the spills and stuff, because we've had concern with spills on the carpet and ants. Of course, it's always in the spring in the cafeteria. You leave food, crumbles food, and you have ants. But we've really tried hard to problem solve all the problems that you guys have brought to us, and we appreciate the communication. Anyway, Heidi shared that there's not too many concerns in the high school, and Kevin shared that it was going good, and that he feels like it's smoothing out in the kindergarten and the first grade. The littles are the biggest challenge there. Anyway, I believe that through all this, and I know I'm going on and on, but I believe through all this there are things that we can all learn about ourselves and about each other. And this struggle for me has a struggle for all of us, but for me personally, there's things that I'm learning through all of this. I'm getting better, and there's things that I know now that I didn't know. And I think that's really important too. I know that this is a hard time for all of us, but I think it's really important that we look to ourselves and what we can do to be a part of coming back together. Because I know we can do it. Like she said, we're all good people. And we all need to work together because there's no other way. There's no other way besides to work together and show each other with grace. Anyway, sorry I was rambling on. ahead.
Well, right, the very first bit of information, 16-day average student participation. And then we pack 291 breakfasts each day. You have 215 total participation. What happens to the extra breakfast?
We repack it every morning, so it's all, that's one bad thing about breakfast in the classroom is that it's prepackaged, you know, that's one downfall to it. It is prepackaged, so we do pretty much the same. We've been able to rotate fruits a little bit, bring in juice, but we repack it every morning, and then if it's something different the next day, it goes, you know, it's a
So it's non-perishable things that you can recycle the extra. Okay, thank you.
And just one more quick thing, I did call, and visit with the food supervisors of the local schools around here, and, Hot Springs, St. Regis and Thompson, and, I did find out that none of the three of those, serve breakfast in a classroom, but they all three run in the red, and they all are having this problem. Not very many of them serve desserts, and if they do, it's once a month. just to lighten that blow a little bit, and chocolate milk is the same way. Hourly wages are similar, we are slightly higher than 2, and then we're slightly, lower than 1. But I, that was really good information to find out too, just for myself and for you guys for a little bit more information, so I appreciate you guys sticking with it and helping us through this 3 months.
Yeah, great job there, Joe.
Can I ask one more question? I think Mary has questions too. You have a question?
Larry Joe, you had said that, I understood that initially there were like 5 students on average that would eat, from the high school,
From the high school.
and now there's 20?
36 was our top.
36, so that's a huge increase, 80 students that are participating in high school. And
Junior high was the same, we would serve 10 to 15 a day for junior high, and now we're up to 48s, so, you know, as high as 48s, so there's a lot, it makes me excited, so there's a lot to discuss after we get through this art and moving forward into next year, there's a lot of things to discuss.
There's more participation is what I'm hearing you say overall in having the breakfast in the classroom for
Yeah.
for the student population.
Yeah, I feel like the junior high has to go. And I have one more question.
Thank you.
Sorry. Down here, you said you, moved custodian hours back to custodial. And what's the difference with that? Can you explain that?
A few years ago, so for the first 10 years that I've been here, the custodial hours were paid by the custodial fund. Our account always was in the black. So it was so much so in the black that we moved those custodial hours to be paid out of the food service account. And then I visited with Kelly and Dr. Walsh, and we moved those back to the custodial so that we could stop the bleeding a little bit more, I guess.
So the custodial account was in better shape than the custodian's account?
The food service account?
Well, I'm not sure what you.
The food service account is the account that they got moved to because had such a surplus of money. Like I said, last year was the first time in those last 14 years that I've been here that it has ran in the red.
Okay.
So moving that back to custodian was just a small piece. A lot of small pieces add up to a big piece.
Thank you.
What's an average breakfast look like?
What does the average breakfast in the classroom look like?
Yeah.
Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, it's 2 different fruits, a muffin, and a milk. So it has to be 2 grains, a cup of fruit, and a milk. So now on Thursdays we do, we've been trying to do hot on Thursdays, so it's pancakes or hot sausage pancake wrap. We've been trying to do that with
challenges or anything for anybody sub fourth grade. It's real. And so I was just curious, are we tracking the loss of mission, to gain margin? Like, do we know how many lost instructional hours we're gonna have between when we started this and the end of the school year?
I have a little bit in here, but I didn't share all of what I wrote, but, so we delivered 8:15, the, kindergarten bell. This doesn't give you a whole chunk, but you can, go from here. The bell rings at 8:15, students are in their classrooms by 8:20, 8:25. We start picking up breakfast from each classroom, so at 8:30, so they're already been served by 8:30 in the classroom, and then almost always they're finished eating and learning by 8:45. That might be a few minutes after that sometimes, but that, and then we're finished delivering high school and junior high by 8:20.
Oh, yeah, cause they're self-sufficient, that makes sense.
So it's not, I mean, in this emergency situation, kind of, you know, that's something they'll have to analyze, but, yeah, that gives you an idea.
Okay, we'll move on to personnel, and the first one will be a teacher resignation of Nicole Cocker.
I make a motion to accept, Nicole Cockrell's teacher resignation.
I'll second.
Questions?
Can I comment? Thank you. It was awesome being across the hall from Nicole during COVID. She always brings a light, sassiness to the hallway, which is awesome, which is why she's Miss Sassy Pants to me. And I wear this fine football horseman shirt in her honor today, because it was the first of its and last of its kind ever. So I have a Nicole Cockrell original. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, with regrets.
Monica? Yes. Lana?
Yes.
Bo?
Yes. Second will be a teacher resignation, Rhiannon Greenwood.
I move we accept Rhiannon Greenwood's resignation. I'll second it.
Questions?
Ellen?
Yes.
Lana?
Yes.
Monica?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Bo?
Yes. Next will be the approval of an MOA for 5th and 6th grade human development class being taught by Alec Cole.
I move that we approve the MOA for Alec Cole to teach the 5th and 6th grade human development classes.
I'll second it.
Questions?
So sorry for doing it.
Okay.
Lana?
Yes.
Monica? Yes. Ellen?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Bo?
Yes. Next will be the approval of the certified staff rehires and non-rehires.
Question before I make a motion. Do
After
we
we
need
make
to
motion.
sequester Tyrell off of this, even though he's tenured, given the family relation?
Yeah, probably.
Like we did last year,
Yeah.
okay.
So separate.
No.
Tyrell.
I move that we separate Tyrell Allen from the certified staff recommendation for rehire, and I move that we approve everyone else on the list for
I'll second.
rehire.
I'll second all of that.
Questions?
Can I ask why?
She's
What-
relation.
It's relation.
Relation.
Oh,
He's my brother.
Okay.
Okay.
Lana?
Yes.
Ellen?
Yes.
Monica?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Bo?
Yeah. Approval of the 25, or. for Tyrell. I'm doing it right now. Approval of this 25-26 certified staff Tyrell Allen, rehire.
I make a motion to approve rehire Tyrell Allen.
I'll second.
Questions?
So do we know who's on the list, since there wasn't one that was posted in the minutes?
We have a list, but I can tell you there's no changes other than the two that you just heard about on the resignation. There is no changes to that, where it was.
You'll have them tomorrow morning, we'll make sure that the packet gets on and you'll have the list. As Bo said,
No.
you'll need two, Ms. Cockrell and Ms. Greenwood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, does this mean tenure for some folks then?
Yeah, it'd be a 10-year for Charity Jermaine, Brooks Sanford will be the ones moving into tenure. Okay.
Steve.
Yes.
Ellen.
Yes.
Monica. Yes. So.
Yes. We'll move on to the 2025-26 fall and winter coach rehires or non-rehires as presented.
You want to do them all together?
Yeah.
Okay, I move that we approve the fall sport coach pre-hires for cross-country football and volleyball.
I second.
Any questions? Yes. Any questions? Yeah.
Does that include, I know that, it's watching your ball activity as well, especially at the C level, you have some volunteer coaches.
No.
They're not included in
Yeah,
that.
no.
So what is the procedure then?
Well, so I'll just read these out so you know. And so it'll be cross country, head coach Jesse Jermaine, assistant coach Charity Jermaine, junior high Gina Furlan. Football, head coach Mike Tatum, assistant coach Lyle Fisher, volunteers Juan Lulak and Scott Johnson. So we'll approve the volunteers on that. Volleyball, head coach Kim Lacko, assistant Jesse Butcher, volunteer Zach Butcher. And the maintenance, that's it. Any other questions on that? Fall, winter. Well, that would be that would just be the fall. That would just be the fall. So we could change the motion to approve this. No, it's not. Yeah, that wouldn't be the winner on this one, right?
So I amend my motion that we approve the fall coach rehires.
Okay. Perfect.
I did. I second the amendment.
Okay, any other questions on that? Okay.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, that will adjourn our meeting at 7:56.
Question for you? Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah. I'm like,
Hey, Maddie.
We're both Mike and Lexi.
that's the day before districts for trip. So they're gonna.
Back at least an hour.
Well, he's got to be back at last four periods. Well, that's how the rules are today. To go on district track, you have to be there last four periods. Unfortunately, the track is night, but skipping out games. They're out there the last 4 days. They're going to districts. Yeah, I can bring it up.
Mom says no.
What? Yeah, that's a problem.
So we're talking about that.
Mrs. Mitchell planned that very accordingly when Lexi said in the beginning, don't do it that day.
It's sanctioned by the school though.
But will they be back for practice?
They don't have to be.
They are planning to stay a little bit later because
Lexi's stressed out.
Yeah, so that's something that you and Russ might have to figure out.
Yeah, Lexi's been like,
It's Mike and Lexi.
Brian's like,
I think we should sanction it because it's we did pre-arrangements and everything. So I mean,
So we'll wait on word from you and I'll make sure.
you just make sure that this is legit.
And then the second one is your state music festival. That has that same
Last year it was in Missoula.
That's going to cost you a lot of money. But I'll get with Denise. We'll make sure she knows.
Mackenzie told all of the seniors wearing normal attire because it's
I saw her in normal clothes this morning. I'm like, what? You look really nice.
normal clothes.
Yeah.
because you've got Caleb, Lacko, Lexi, Mike, and Mackenzie Tulloch for sure. Just trying to think who has throws versus.
But yeah, we'll I'll Denise get with you guys. That's okay.
How are you? How was your day?
Good, good.
Missed you being
Busy. Always, every day is busy. Every day is like just walk around problem solve. I wonder if they turn.
Yeah.